Edition of the Cleveland Sports 360 show, coming at you live each and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on streamingsportstalk.com. Joining me live in the studio, James Keck, one of the owners of the Northeast Ohio Predators, and introduce your buddies that you brought with you. One guy's a cornerback and one guy's an all-star receiver kick returner, right?
That's correct. We have Jessie Williams, who's an all-star cornerback, and then Cornelius Strickland, who's an all-star wide receiver kick returner.
And we're going to try to get these guys signed with the Browns before the end of the show. Kenyon, get on the phone back to that Neil Golkus down there at the Cleveland Browns headquarters, man, and tell them we got some guys that might be able to come down there and show these sons of a bitches how to play football.
Yeah, well, I just called Shermer. Shermer hung up on me and said, we need too much help.
He's not taking any calls. Shermer, I think they have him on suicide watch, James.
Oh, I believe that. There's no question about that. His job's in jeopardy.
It looks like a loose cannon right about now, man. I mean, I don't know if you saw him in the postgame. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a shout-out to the Captain's Club in East Lake, Ohio, 34820 Vine Street. We had one hellacious football party there yesterday. It's too bad the Browns didn't provide a win, but I can tell you this, the Captain's Club provided an excellent opportunity for people to come out, watch the game with me and Kenyon Johnson. We had J-Rock Daddy from the Sports Fix, WHK 1420, every Saturday night from 9 to midnight. Your co-host, LG, will be back down there, the voice of Cleveland sports himself. This Saturday night, we probably won't start at 9 because we got those damn college football games there broadcasting live. But each and every Saturday night, you can catch LG on the Sports Fix, WHK. But if you didn't come out to the Captain's Club, we're going to announce next time, give you some advance warning. Again, you got to come out there. What'd you think of that atmosphere, James?
Oh, I liked it, and the wings were fabulous.
Wings, absolutely. Pizza, great bundle, right?
Oh, that's correct. It was only like $20, and you got a large pizza, a bucket of beer, and some wings.
Okay, so let's get right into what this show is all about, man. We're 0-3 now with one of our favorite football teams. We're tied with the New Orleans Saints, and one thing that I noticed that the Saints and the Cleveland Browns both have in common is both teams are playing without a head coach, James.
That's true. I mean, for them, different circumstances.
Obviously, Roger Goodell kind of neutered the Saints this year, but the Mike Holmgren, the team president of the Cleveland Browns, neutered the Cleveland Browns when he brought Uncle Fritz's fucking nephew in here that sucks at football, that can't call it. I mean, you got a first-round draft pick out of Alabama that rushes the frickin' football 12 times, man, for 27 yards. With Jim Brown, one of the greatest rushing guys. I mean, come on, man, what's that all about, 12 times?
I have no idea what that's about. Maybe it's just not faith in the offensive line. But then again, why would you put Brandon Weeden in that situation with him being so young? I think you have to take what you have. And right now we know that we have a star in the making with the running back. And Brandon Weeden, I mean, he's shown inconsistent, and he's not strong enough to just lead a team. So when you put it in his hands, you're doomed. So that's why we're 0-3, because we've relied on Brandon Weeden too much, and he really can't get it done right now.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, these aren't just normal guys off the street that are your normal football fans. James Keck is part owner of the Northeast Ohio Predators. Right here is a man that's a cornerback, and this guy knows how to make interceptions. Let me ask you a couple questions, Jesse. Mm-hmm. Number one, what do you look for when you're going back into coverage? What are you watching on that quarterback? Why does Brandon Weeden have as many interceptions as we see him having already this season, man?
Well, right now, when I first drop into my read, the first thing I look for when I'm reading a quarterback is his eyes, because his eyes don't lie. Sometimes young quarterbacks or inexperienced quarterbacks tend to stare down their receiver.
Excuse me 1 second. I just want to reiterate. We're not talking young quarterbacks with Brandon Weeden. We're talking a 28-year-old that'll be 29 on October 14th. Go ahead.
And Brandon Weeden is proving that he can sling the ball. I was pretty convinced at what he did at Oklahoma State. But, you know, it's not oftentimes easy for young quarterbacks to come into the NFL right away and flourish. I mean, a lot of people have had high expectations because you have the Andy Daltons. You have the Cam Newtons, even the Christian Ponders, who had a great game against a great San Francisco 49ers defense, you know. It's not oftentimes easy for a quarterback to come in right away against experienced defenses and flourish. And, you know, unfortunately to say it, I almost expected the Browns to have that inability to score points. I mean, you have Brandon Weeden, who is, yes, already at risk with his age and his background with the whole baseball incident. But I mean, you don't give him as many weapons as you should. You give him Trent Richardson, but we all knew that right away he wouldn't come in fresh coming off that knee scope injury, which was needed as soon as he came out of Alabama. So, I mean, I'm not shocked by their inability to score points. I think they may warm up as the season goes on, but right now I'm very unimpressed.
Well, speaking of injuries, James Keck suffered a couple injuries playing semi-pro ball this year, man. I was there in person when you blew the hammy out against those stinking Lima Warriors, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And I wanted to give you the needle right there on the sidelines, but unfortunately, semi-pro, nobody had it available. Remember that? I said, where's the needle, man? We could have got you right back into that game. But when you come back from a knee injury, sort of like this surgery that he had, we're not even talking 6 weeks yet, man. Do you think that Trent Richardson is completely able to play the kind of football that Trent Richardson is able to produce out there on the field right now with this particular knee getting rescoped?
No, I don't feel that he is. I mean, with injuries, coming back, he may feel 100% as far as the knee goes, but mentally, I mean, you just hesitate a little bit. You're scared to just run out there, go full speed, cuts, certain things that he would have done before. It kind of hinders that in a little bit.
So maybe psychologically. What about you, Jesse, man? Did you ever have a knee injury or anything like that?
Well, God bless. No, I have never experienced.
Yeah, knock on wood. Really.
Yeah, I've never experienced a knee injury in my several years of playing football. But I think a lot of people had high expectations for Trent Richardson in comparison to Adrian Peterson. And you look at the similar running styles, very aggressive in between the tackles. And you see what that knee injury has done to Adrian Peterson's career, kind of put it on hold. He spent his entire offseason rehabbing. And I've watched his games. He looks good, but considering all the time and effort he put into rehab, it's upstanding. And Trent Richardson is still no Adrian Peterson. But I think once time goes on and it progresses, if he keeps doing what he's doing right now, he'll be okay.
Well, one thing I got to tell you, and I'm sure you guys will be in agreement, and if you're not, feel free to stay so, because somebody's got to get the frickin' play calling out of Pat Shurmur's hands, man. When you got a guy like Trent Richardson in your backfield, another thing, you got to have a lead blocker, man. This is the NFL. I mean, one of the things that surprised me, well, I thought it was comical, actually. Trent Richardson makes the statement that he's surprised one guy can tackle him in the NFL, because in college, nobody could tackle him solo. But coming into the NFL, he didn't realize these guys are the best of the best, man. I mean, you guys play against some pretty damn good football players. I've been to your game, and there was quite a bit of point scoring going on both sides of the football. Unfortunately, the night I came, your quarterback was giving the wrong guy the ball half the time, so you suffered a loss, I'm pretty sure. But seriously, man, you got to have somebody that's going to block for this guy. How long is this going to take for Pat Shurmur to figure this out, Jesse?
Well, right now, I don't know what's going on from the front office down to the coaching staff. I mean, you bring these guys in to change the style of offense. It's a quote-unquote passing league, according to most people. So you bring in Trent Richardson, and then you give him the ball 12 times a game. And not sure if he can carry the workload, and we have really nobody behind him that can step up in those shoes. So, I mean, right now, it starts with the blocking and what we're going to do. Who is Brandon Whedon going to get the ball to in these clutch situations when we have receivers who can't catch drag routes? It's to the point where if we're going to look at the type of offense Brandon Whedon played at Oklahoma State with the 5 wide, 4 wide spread, dishing that ball out.
Let's stop right there. Let me interrupt you for 1 second. When we talk Oklahoma State, man, you had Justin Blackman. You had a couple other guys. Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about that. Did Blackman help make Whedon the quarterback that he is, or did Whedon help make Blackman the receiver he is? My opinion is Justin Blackman was one hellacious help to Brandon Whedon at Oklahoma State,
don't forget
because he's excelling phenomenally making the transition into the NFL, man. What's your opinion on that?
Absolutely. Well,
every one of you guys.
Des Bryant was also a factor there. But, of course, when you have a vertical threat and a 5-wide offense, a receiver who can go out there and catch the deep balls, you can throw it. You can throw it high. You can let him go get it. You can let him get those 60-yard bombs and go up and physically get the ball over DBs. I mean, of course, he made Brandon Wheaton's stats look like what they were. He made him look like that gunslinger quarterback. why we passed him up if we were going to go get Brandon Wheaton. Makes no sense.
Well, there's a lot of things that the Cleveland Browns did that didn't make any sense. And as an owner, James Keck, let's get into that a little bit. I mean, I know Mike Holmgren is not the owner of the Cleveland Browns, but he was given free reign over the entire team, and Randy Lerner really is an off-site kind of guy. He didn't really want nothing to do with the Cleveland Browns. His dad died from a brain tumor, in case people don't realize. Al Lerner died, brain cancer. Randy Lerner ends up with the Cleveland Browns. Takes a few years to figure out he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to running a football team. So the next thing he does, he goes out and he hires a guy like Mike Holmgren that's supposed to come in and rebuild this football team, man. Now, people have stated Mike Holmgren is a much better football coach than he is a general manager running a team. They say just look at his record with the Pack compared to what he did with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, as an owner, where do you think the Browns screwed up, man?
Well, I mean, Mike Holmgren, that's his job to put the coaches in play. So he ended up putting his group together. He put Shermer in there. And, that was his decision. He wanted to go with one of his guys, somebody who's been in his system, somebody who's run things that way. But, as we can see a lot of times, guys who come out of certain systems, they don't run the system the same exact way. Holmgren put Shermer in thinking that it was going to be the same exact way as he was able to run it. And as we can tell, Holmgren had the guys in Green Bay. But when he went to Seattle, we saw how his system worked. It just didn't work out as well as he thought it would.
Well, that's the thing, too. You go out and you get a guy like Whedon, as Jesse described him as a gunslinger quarterback out there in Oklahoma, and we don't give him protection. We don't give him the quality receivers. My personal opinion, and there's people, and forget about me for a minute, because as soon as I say this, Kenyon Johnson's going to jump out of his chair and go fucking crazy like he normally does, okay? But my personal opinion is Colt McCoy would have won one football game by now. There's no ifs and buts about that. He's a better manager on the football field than Brandon Wheaton. You guys disagree with that?
I mean, I'd agree, especially with Colt McCoy having experience already in the NFL, one up. He's been through the ups and downs of the AFC North. He knows what it takes to get it done. But once again, I believe it all starts with the weapons. You can have those things, and, we can even continue to build on that front. But if the ball is not progressing and we're not scoring points, then none of that really matters.
Well, let me finish the point before we go to a commercial break. We got 1 minute before the break. I know Colt McCoy is not a better quarterback than Brandon Wheaton when it comes to arm strength, but he's a better manager on the football field than Brandon Wheaton is. He would have won one frickin' football game. So here's what I would have did if I was running the Cleveland Browns. Skip taking Brandon Wheaton and wasting the 22nd pick. I would have picked David DeCastro, put him on the offensive line, got the receivers you're mentioning, built up a little bit of weaponry. We're going to suck this year, regardless if it was Colt McCoy playing or if it's Brandon Wheaton. We already suck. We're 0-3. Chances are we're not going to win a football game until we see the Indianapolis Colts. And my fear is, by that time, Andrew Luck will be a much better quarterback than what he is already, which he's really not that bad. Brandon Wheaton is the only one out of the first round of the rookie class that hasn't won an NFL football game yet. Tannehill's won. Luck's won, RG3's won. Okay?
Well,
So we suck. Hey, shut up a minute.
They all lost this
Goddamn
Colt McCoy ain't shit.
Shut the fuck up! I told you don't say nothing when I'm talking here, man. The problem is, we suck, Kenyon Johnson. Did you see this guy when he left yesterday, man? I thought his dog died. He's like, my Browns. I said, what did you expect? You cannot fucking tell me that you came into that joint yesterday, Kenyon Johnson, and you're telling me that you think the Cleveland Browns were going to win a football game. Yes or no? Were you thinking we're going to win that game?
Yes, when I first came in, yes, I predicted.
I did not think so, man.
You predicted them to win, also. How do you not believe so if you predicted them to win?
You go back and listen to last week's show. My comments.
I listened to yesterday's show. You predicted them to win.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
Go back. I said the Buffalo Bills are going to win 28-14.
Oh.
He did.
Is that what I said?
Don't co-sign, dude. You want to stay on this air? Don't ever co-sign. Don't never go against the family.
The only time I picked the Cleveland Browns to win against the Buffalo Bills was when the schedule first came out. I go, I go, there's a game possibly we could win.
Yeah.
On paper. Then I see this Spiller running the frickin' football all over the field. Then I see the Cleveland Browns come out in 3 consecutive games that cannot stop the run yet. We did not address this. So you know what I say? Suck one more year. Keep Colt McCoy as the quarterback. Build up the offensive line. Get David DeCastro. Get a good quality receiver. They could have brought a veteran receiver in that could teach these guys. Hey, we're going to talk to a receiver when we come back here a little bit after 2 minutes. But suck. Get Barkley in the draft next year.
Would have been ideal.
And then you got a football team. All of a sudden, you got somebody that's going to keep the quarterback in an upright position. You got somebody that's going to block for him. Maybe you got a couple receivers. Maybe you brought in a veteran receiver that's going to teach these young guys. There's a lot about route separation and thing like that we're going to get into with the receiver when we come back here. Right now, we're taking a break. Thanks for tuning in to StreamingSportsTalk.com. This is the Cleveland Sports 360 show. James Keck, Jessie Williams, and when we come back, we're going to bring up
Cornelius Strickland.
We'll be right back. 2 minutes. Don't change that dial. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show right here on the 4th floor of the Omni Building, beautiful Euclid, Ohio, at StreamingSportsTalk.com. Joining me live for the second segment of this show are a couple of guys from the Northeast Ohio Predators. Before the break, we were talking, why did we go out and get Brandon Whedon? Introduce yourself, man, and tell them what you do.
My name is Cornelius Strickland. I play receiver and kick return and punt return for the Predators.
Well, there you have it, folks. We brought in a receiver, a guy that knows a little bit about route running, and he saw the Browns game yesterday. Tell me, man, what do you think the Cleveland receivers are lacking? Why aren't we moving this football down the field? Why do we have so many 3-and-outs?
I don't see no confidence. Start with the quarterback down to the receivers, really. The route running it's good to me, but they're not catching the ball. They're not even looking to make no plays after the catch or anything. I'm not seeing nothing really impressive beside the Benjamin guy.
So you saw Travis Benjamin have a little bit of separation yesterday down the field. What did you think of this pinpoint laser accurate arm that we heard so much about when it came to Brandon Whedon, man?
I think it's a little shook. I mean, Brandon Whedon, like I said, I look at him, and when he come off the field, I look at his demeanor on the sideline. He just don't look like he got confidence. I would have been with Colt McCoy, really.
You would have stayed with Colt?
Yes, he just would have. A guy that gets out the pocket and makes something happen. Brandon Whedon not even looking to get out the pocket.
Well, that's because he can't get out of the pocket, man. As soon as he does, I wrote an article this morning. You people may want to go out there and look for it. It's on ClevelandSports360.com. It's called Brandon Whedon Should Wear Some Depends Underneath His Uniform Pants this coming Thursday night when he sees Ray Lewis coming across that frickin' offensive line. He made dirty he may soil his pants. So I recommend he wears some Depends underneath his uniform, man. Otherwise, he's going to shit himself when he ain't gotten sacked like these crazy bastards. And these Ravens are like mad. You remember Mike Junkin, the mad dog in the meat market that Marty Schottenheimer and them guys were telling us about? They got those guys. Those are real guys on the Baltimore Ravens team.
Mike Junkin?
Yeah.
The Browns, Mike Junkin?
Don't you remember when he described him as a mad dog in the meat
I was about
market?
to say, because he played like a little.
He played like
pussycat.
shit.
Okay, I'm sure.
I said the Ravens really have those mad dogs in the meat market on their team. You don't have to say that. They got them. Hey, we got a call coming into the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Caller, are you there?
Yes, LG, I am here.
What's up, man? Is this Wish?
This is Wish.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the Browns bunch. Jason Darwish, Wish, a.k.a. Nobody knows how to party like the Browns bunch. You know how they do on the Muni Lot each and every home game for the Cleveland Browns, the Browns bunch. What's up, Wish? What'd you think of the display of talent that we saw yesterday out on the field, man?
More and more shit. Same old shit. The same shit that I'm sick and tired of witnessing week in and week out.
Me too.
Now, Wish, I got a couple guys that really know how to play football in the studio tonight, man. The Northeast Ohio Predators semi-pro football team, man. You got to go check out these guys at Nordonia High School next summer, man. You'll see some good football. I know these guys were one game shy of making it to the championship this year, man. They're just getting out of their disappointment now, and they were good enough to come down. But, Wish, I don't know if it was you that made a post today on the Browns Bunch Facebook wall. It said something to the effect that the Titans came into the league 3 years after the Cleveland Browns. Was that? Did you have anything to do with that?
Yes, that was my fault. Everything that goes on the Browns Bunch page is courtesy of me.
Okay, so basically, let's talk about that for a minute. The Cleveland Browns came into the league 3 years before the Tennessee Titans. Is that right? Or
No, not the Titans, the Houston Texans.
The Houston Texans, right. Because I get confused because the Titans used to be the Houston Oilers.
Correct.
But take us through that for a minute. State the point you were trying to make to the people out there that didn't necessarily read that post yet.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is we were an expansion team in 1999, and the Houston Texans came back. Actually, Houston got a franchise granted to them back in 2002. And just as we sucked our first few years, so did the Texans, because they were an expansion team. They didn't have the talent on the roster to make the things happen that they needed to happen. But between drafting and proper management and so on and so forth, they've made the progression like they're supposed to. And they made the playoffs for the first time last year. They're a Super Bowl contender this year. And previous to last year, they were on the cusp. They were a 800 or a 9-7 team. And it just pisses me off that the Browns can't get it right like they got it right.
Well, we were talking a little bit before in the first segment of the show when we had James Keck up here. He's part owner of the Northeast Ohio Predators. But, hey, Wish, you still playing football, man. You may want to come and check these guys out because they're always looking for talent next year, man.
Definitely.
You know what? I played semi-pro for 8 years. I played for the North Coast Outlaws, the Cleveland Cardinals, Cincinnati Kings Comets. I played many years. I'm done with semi-pro. I'm a bit old now, LG.
But anyways,
I'll stick to flag football and co-ed touch football on Saturday.
Yeah, I go for the co-ed one myself, man. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah, you get your grand ass. It's great.
right. Anyways, talking about the management situation that gets these teams in order when you're an expansion team. We were talking earlier in the first segment, Randy Lerner obviously didn't want to run a football team. It took him a few years to realize he didn't really have the capabilities of running a football team. He goes out, he signs Mike Holmgren as the team's president, man. And, everybody was gung-ho, but there's a lot of people that say Holmgren was a hell of a lot better of a coach than he is as a team president or a general manager, and obviously we got Tom Heckard. But what is your take on Holmgren hiring Pat Shurmur to run the Cleveland Browns organization?
Well, you already know that. Everybody has a certain purpose. That there are certain people that are great assistant coaches or offensive or defensive coordinators, and they're good at that position, and they can't do the head coaching gig. Pat Shermer was not even a good offensive coordinator. He, like I said in the past, he just got everything handed to him because of Uncle Fritz. And as far as Holmgren goes, he's not a good president. He needs to go back to coaching, or he just needs to walk away from the game of football and take that $50 million we gave him and enjoy the rest of his life. He needs to get the hell up out of here. Haslam needs to come in, clean house, and get guys in here that want to win and don't take losing as an option.
And that's the thing. The Mike Holmgren regime has used the Cleveland Browns organization as an open bank policy, man. I mean it like this. Holmgren comes in, he gets $8 million a year, he sits up there, does very little to make this a winning team. He could have came down on the field and said a few syllables to Pat Shermer last year when it was Pat Shermer's first year. I mean, you've seen other people in high positions come down onto the field. You never saw Mike Holmgren do that. I understand you don't want to undermine your other guy's authority, but once in a while you give him some encouragement, or maybe you got an idea. He never did that. He brings in Pat Shermer.
No, here's what it is. Mike Holmgren looked at Randy Lerner and said, wow, this guy is clueless. This is an easy paycheck. It's kind of like being a guy at a club and you see the really drunk chick. You know you can easily hit that at the end of the night. You're going to jump all over it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He used the Cleveland Browns as an open banked policy, man. He got himself a sweet deal. He got his little buddy Pat Shermer a sweet deal. By the way, Wish, did you see Pat Shermer's post game last night, man?
No, I came home and actually watched other games on TV and watched how football's supposed to be played and tried to enjoy the rest of my day.
That's exactly.
Pretty much when I left the meeting, I was putting the Browns out for the rest of the day.
That's exactly what I did. But let me just run something by you, man. Pat Shermer is on
you
the
all
verge.
better get on this fan lockout, man. You better join the fan lockout with me, man. Join the fan lockout.
It's about to be time for Cleveland sports.
You're kidding. You're never going to wear Browns gear again, buddy. I'm just letting you know that right now.
You won't wear it this season, that's for sure, to win 2 in a row. Wish, when do you see the Browns having the next potential win come their way, man?
Oh, man. I for the first time in a while, LG, I really thought we were going to get that W yesterday. I was excited about the game. I was sick as a dog. And I still woke up at 3:45 a.m. and got my ass down to the Muni Lock because I didn't want to miss it. And to tailgate through that rain and that cold and get more sick than I was before I went there to watch that loss really upset me. Okay, look at the schedule right now. I'm saying Indianapolis, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oakland kicks our ass too.
Well, we could end up going 0-16 this season then, if that's the case, man.
I started out in the beginning of the year saying the Browns were going to go 5-11, and that was with us beating Buffalo. So I don't see any more than 4 wins. I don't. Honestly, I'm thinking 3-13.
Well, that's a pretty good prediction. So, anything else you want to add before we let you go, Wish?
Yes, I'm sick and tired of fucking losing.
Well, that makes a whole group of us here, man, and I think that the fans in Cleveland, I mean, they're still going to support this team. It's the only thing they have to do, it seems like. But until they stop, well, Jimmy Haslam's going to come in. His first official act that would make LG happy as hell would be calling Pat Shermer in the morning and say, please, don't even come back to the office. We had a pods delivered in your driveway. Start packing your shit up. We'll run the rest of it over there to you, man.
I really hope that happens. I mean, really, they need to get rid of him this year and send the message.
Kenya, I thought he should be gone last night.
Send the message to the team that we're not fucking around and you're going to have a new coach next year, and if you don't bust your ass, you're not going to be here next year.
Well, that's the way I would look at it, man. Well, thanks a lot for calling in, Wish. We like talking to you each and every week, especially, I'd love to see you on a winning Wish. We never had a winning Wish call.
Yeah, you've yet to see the winning side of Wish. Oh, so, I guess you'll see that, I don't know, 2013, maybe 2014.
9 losses in a row going back to last season, folks. That's what we're living through here in the city of Cleveland with our Cleveland Browns, man. We'll talk to you soon, Wish. God bless you, man.
You guys have a good one. Take care.
You too, brother. There you have it, folks. Jason Darwish from the Browns Bunch. You know how they do. We're going to come right back after this short break with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show with Cornelius Cornelius and Jason from Jessie Williams. I need to write stuff down. I'm so hyped up, man, because I feel bad for Wish. He never saw a winning freaking Wish on the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Yeah. I only seen Kenyon 4 times in my whole life after a Browns win.
That's a shame, man.
I mean, come on. We got a whole generation of people that have never seen a winning football team, man, in Cleveland. Think about it, man. If you're 14, 15, 16 years old right now, all the way up to what, 18, 19 years old, there's a good possibility you've never seen a Cleveland Browns winning football team. And frankly, we're sick and frickin' tired of that bullshit, man. We're going to come right back with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show right here on streamingsportstalk.com. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another segment of the Cleveland Sports 360 show, live right here at streamingsportstalk.com. Joining me live on this set from the Northeast Ohio Predators semi-pro football team, we have Cornelius Strickland, Jessie Williams, and we got little Jackson right here. This is James Keck's son. This kid has been specially made to be a Cleveland Browns football fan.
Oh my God, that is child abuse.
No, but that's
child abuse, man. Whoever is the parents of this child that's making this child a Browns fan should be sent to jail.
We're hoping that little Jackson here can see a win in his lifetime when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. And how old is he now?
He's 7 months old now.
7 months, this kid has not seen a winning football game yet, coming from the Cleveland Browns, man. 7 months old. Now, there's people out there that are 20 years old that didn't see it. Jackson, it's not going to be that bad, buddy. We're going to show you a win pretty soon. When Jimmy Haslam comes to town and he gets rid of those mean old bums that can't produce a winning football team for you, he's getting a clean house. He's going to fire them. And Jackson will see a winning football team in his lifetime. We can almost guarantee it with Jimmy Haslam coming to town, man. Cornelius, what's your thoughts of this new ownership coming in and taking care of the Cleveland Browns? Will Jackson be able to see a win?
I think you'll see a win. I mean, we can't continue going. The Browns fans definitely not going to let us keep traveling down this road. You know, I'm tired of losing myself. I think Cleveland will win the city. I just think we don't get the right people to handle our teams. You know.
Now, before we went to the first break, when we brought Cornelius up, we were going to talk a little bit about Cleveland Browns receivers. And Cornelius is a receiver for the Northeast Ohio Predators. These guys went pretty deep into the season this year. They only missed the championship game by 1, and they played some damn good football. Cornelius, tell us, man, because there's people out there that don't really understand the X's and O's. There's a little bit more than saying, run down the field and I'm going to throw you this football, right?
Yeah, it's definitely more. You gotta know what your teammates doing as far as like the other wide receivers. You don't want to be in the same area. That's a big thing. And catching the ball a big thing. You got to be hungry. You got to want to break tackles and want to score for your team. I like to see my team pumped up. That's what drives me to keep breaking tackles or whatever when I get the ball in my hand. It's definitely more than just running and catching the ball. You got schemes that the defenses try to do, and then you got things that I think we should be doing with Whedon as far as like easy throws, like dump off passes and stuff to make him get more in rhythm and comfortable with his team. You need to know who your playmakers on the team, and I don't know if Whedon's sure who his playmakers is on the team yet.
Well, I think Whedon came out and he had a press conference, and I don't want to say he's directly pointing fingers saying his playmakers aren't making the plays, but he is less than completely happy with the guys that are entrusted to make the plays right now. He's less than completely happy with the offensive line. I mean, he's less than completely happy with a lot of things that
What
are
I don't
going on.
understand, LG, if he's going to put the ball up 43 times, why don't you put him in shotgun? I mean, you're not fooling nobody by having him behind the center. This is what this kid played his entire college career, from the shotgun. Can 10 of those plays come from a shotgun? Damn, I mean.
Well, they did have him in the shotgun on several plays yesterday, and even on a lot of West Coast offenses.
But those was on like 3rd and 17. Yeah, you
So
damn
you know
right
he's
he's supposed to
gonna
be in
throw it, yeah.
shotgun. I mean, he has no choice.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the coach of the Cleveland Browns, but I can tell you right now, even if I was, they won't even let LG into the locker room because they know I'm going to kick the shit out of that guy that's supposed to be the coach. I would psych this team up. We would get a win, man. There's no doubt about it, man. Because if you don't win, like you said earlier, you don't win a football game, or Wish said, you get those guys out of here. You're paying a lot of money for these guys to come out. I mean, Cornelius, you play for the love of the game still. What's the highest level of football you ever played, man? Did you play any college ball?
No, I'm actually aiming for college ball still. I'm going to get my film together from this year, which I got a lot of good film, but I'm still aiming to go to the next level myself. I'm still young, being 24, so
you're saying you're about to dip out on the Predators. That's what you're saying.
Well, look at Brandon Whedon. He went back to college after 6 years of failed dip. 6 years of failed MLB baseball. Brandon Whedon, 6 years, he couldn't make it in the major leagues. A lot of people think mentally he didn't have what it took to make it in Major League Baseball. If he didn't have it mentally to make it in Major League Baseball, what makes him think mentally he's going to make it in
football? One of
football.
the hardest games to play on earth. Definitely at the quarterback situation, you got to know what's going on.
But what do you think of that, man? I mean, Brandon Whedon, he had minor arm problems, minor shoulder problems when he was in the New York Yankees organization, minor league baseball, and he left. Comes up with this cockamamie story about when I threw a ball 97 miles an hour and I handcuffed the hitter, he breaks the baseball bat, hits it off the handle, and drives it over the center field wall. It was time to get out. Well, a physicist figured that you can't do that. Physically, you can't do it. You can't hit a baseball that far off the handle of a baseball bat, man. So how mentally tough do you have to be to compete in the NFL, in your opinion, Cornelius?
I think you got to be real tough. You got to be smart also with definitely how defensive players try to get in your head and talk and bark and want you to commit penalties. I think you got to be real strong-minded to play football, period. And definitely in the NFL, these are the top guys that know exactly where they supposed to be on the field and what to do. This is their job, and they take this stuff serious. The love of the game. I love the game, and if I was in the NFL, I'd be taking it serious, just as serious as you guys, so I know.
Now let's go back and ask our cornerback down there. You're talking defense now. Kenyon brought up an interesting point earlier before you guys even arrived to the studio tonight, that nobody talks more trash than the Baltimore Ravens defense, man. Now, as a defensive cornerback, what do you think that these Ravens are going to do to the Cleveland Browns come on Thursday night, man?
Well, I mean, when you look at that Baltimore Ravens defense, man, it's a bunch of wild animals out there. You got Ray Lewis, the Haloti Nadas, the Ed Reeds. These guys are hungry. They are hungry. They play that old-fashioned football that you see, that smash mouth, that make you work for every yard defense. And, our offense with the inability to score points and really to even put on a flash, I'm pretty sure the Baltimore Ravens defense right now is thinking they got this one in the bag.
No subs either.
Now, you can't get too cocky out there because, after all, the Cleveland Browns are an NFL football team, and you don't want to underestimate anybody because the NFL.
What?
I mean, there has been stranger things.
They are an NFL team?
Yeah, unfortunately, they are an NFL team. I mean, how many times have you seen it? You can't go out and completely underestimate your opponent, okay?
Absolutely.
But I can't see the Browns coming out with a win on Thursday night, man, and I can't even see. What do you think about the defense as a cornerback? Do you think that we have any receivers that can beat the defense the Ravens have out there, man?
Not at all. I'm not surprised. I'm not fascinated with any of these receivers. They haven't shown me much. I was complaining before the game about the Benjamin guy, ACC football, undersized receiver, great speed, and he was getting open some plays, but I'm not really impressed with him at all. I just don't think if I was a cornerback in the NFL, I wouldn't be too concerned about the Browns receivers, especially underneath passes. You can't catch the ball on 2nd and long, 3rd and long. I'll play you off and gamble, try and get some picks. No, I'm not really impressed with the Browns receivers at all.
Now, as a receiver, what do you think? The Browns have any hope at all? Do you think they have any hope at all, Cornelius, come Thursday night to do anything that can possibly put some points on the board against this Baltimore Ravens defense, man?
It's always hope. There's always stuff that happened that ain't explained, so I think they can put points up. I liked the tight end, number 84, from this week. He did a real good job with catching the ball and passing the ball. I mean, catching the ball from Wheaton. So
Talking about Jordan Cameron there?
yeah.
Well, it's going to be a dogfight. I hate to say it, not a dogfight in the meaning of the Cleveland Browns dogs, but the hungry dogs that are in Baltimore that are going to really come in and put some pressure on Brandon Wheaton this coming Thursday night. And another thing that bothers me, this is his first time with 3 days rest, man, coming up and taking on a team the quality of the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, mentally, you're talking mentally, Cornelius. We go back to that mental thing, getting ready after Sunday's beating and going into a team like Baltimore. How mentally anguishing is it to a guy like Brandon Wheaton, man?
Brandon Wheaton about to have nightmares all week. Ray Lewis coming out that tunnel, start dancing. Brandon Wheaton about to be shook. I don't know what he
Now,
knows.
I can tell you now, if the Browns were winning right now, this would be a game that you want to have a more experienced quarterback playing.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because Browns always play the Ravens tough. They always play them tough.
Well,
it's always a close
rivalry,
game. But this one, the reason why most people don't see this being close is this is Wheaton's first time facing Ray Lewis. Actually happened to see him while you're under that center, and it ain't nothing nice to see. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to see Ed Reed over there, the wide receiver you got to throw it to. That ain't nothing nice to see. It's just a whole bunch of people new in that backfield, even Richardson. I'm quite sure he grew up idolizing Ray Lewis. Now you about to face him. It's tough. It's tough.
Well, I told you, man, when the New England Patriots, Tom Brady handed the ball off last night, there was 4 Ravens in the backfield that could have took that handoff in that game, and they physically ran right over Brady, knocked him to the ground, and made the tackle for a 6-yard loss behind the line of scrimmage, man. That's how quick these Ravens linebackers and some of these defensive guys are on the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not a Ravens fan, but I can tell you one thing, man. I'm a little bit worried for Brandon Wheaton's health, and God knows what's going to happen Thursday night. And again, 3 days rest. Holy smokes, we got big problems coming up. We're going to take another break. We're going to come back. Jackson, we promise you one of these days, he's young enough, folks. See him, he's young enough to see a Browns win. Hopefully it's not going to take him past his 5th birthday to see one. But we're going to come back with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show with the Northeast Ohio Predators live right here at streamingsportstalk.com. We'll be right back.
And if it isn't too much to ask, at an awful time like this, how did he die? I didn't know him, but I miss him already.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Live on the set tonight, we have Cornelius Strickland, little Jackson Keck right here waiting to see a Browns win. James Keck, the owner of the Northeast Ohio Predators semi-pro football team, he's on the set with us. And he bred this little guy right here to be a football player. What did you do special when you made this kid, man? Tell us your technique that was involved.
Just a little bit of a deep stroke, I guess.
There you have it. He got the whole thing in there, and he made sure that it took properly, right?
That's correct. You got to handle your business, you know.
There you have it, folks. 7 months old. This kid was bred to be a football player, and we're hoping he sees a Browns win. He's 7 months old now, so let's think about that. 5 more months, he'll be a year old, and the season will be over by then.
He is going to be.
So it's highly unlikely little Jackson's going to see a win. He could possibly see one.
He can see one on Madden 13.
Madden 13, there you have it, man. Madden 13, he might be able to see a win before his first birthday. That's a riot. But we're talking Browns football. We got the Ravens coming up. James, as an owner of a team, I know your team's not on the same level as the $1 billion Jimmy Haslam paid for the Cleveland Browns, but do you think he wants his money back yet?
At first one would think so, but I don't really see him focusing on what's going on with the team as of right now, as far as on the field. I see he's reaching more out to the community now. I mean, he's setting up meetings with the city of Cleveland. He had a meeting with Jim Brown the other day to try to, fix that relationship there.
Something else Mike Holmgren broke.
Right. So he's trying to, fix up what's going on right now and, try to make us more of an organization instead of what we were. I mean, with Randy Lerner there, we were just basically, a flag team that was being run.
Stagnant, like a swamp, where that green stuff grows on top of the water and nobody's moving it around. You got to stir up the water a little bit so that stagnant shit don't grow on the top, man. Sorry, Jackson, don't pick that word up. But anyways, Cornelius, as a receiver, do you think the Browns made a mistake by not going out and getting us a veteran wide receiver off the free agent wire or through a trade or something that could come in and teach these young guys not only route running, but how to create that all-important separation, man?
I think we did. We missed out on Randy. We missed out on. Of course, we got the problems with Randy. People don't want to get Randy because of how he look in the media.
Are you talking Randy Moss?
Yeah.
He's doing a fantastic job.
He looked real good. He looked like he's young again, the way I see him out there running. So I think we should have definitely went and got some veterans to teach these young guys tricks and everything because, older guys even tell you what the D-backs do to cheat and stuff, to keep you aware on how stuff go down on the field. So I think we definitely missed out on the veterans.
Yeah, man, and as much as this stings, I'm going to say it anyways, even Braylon Edwards would have been a plus. I mean, Braylon did grow up a little bit out there on the West Coast. He came back. He's playing in Seattle tonight against the Pack. Tune in, see him. But, Braylon has matured a little bit, man. Do you think he could have been a plus or not? Or do you think the fans would have never accepted him?
Both. I don't think Braylon want to come back here. I think he made it clear that he ain't like Cleveland, so.
Well, he made it clear that he didn't like LeBron, but I don't think any of us do. So,
Well, one thing is, when you're out there looking for a paycheck, man, what you made clear several months or several years earlier maybe doesn't necessarily stand up when you're hungry, man. I bet you if we reached out, and it's never going to happen, and I don't even believe we should, but even a guy like Terrell Owens, man, the Seahawks brought him into camp. Terrell has something he can teach somebody, man, and you could pick this guy up for a song and a dance, right, James Keck, as an owner? Would that be a smart move or a bad move?
Yeah, because he has to teach Greg Little how to come up with his own dances. That little Usain Bolt lightning bolt that he does, he needs to get rid of.
That's another damn thing, man. Here you guys you're losing in a football game, and you got guys out there on the field doing celebrations like that, man. What's that all about?
It's just ridiculous. We haven't earned the right to celebrate at all. We have not earned a single thing on this field. We have to come out and play and win and show that we are a force in this league before you can sit there and celebrate. Why was T.O. able to do that? Because he made his catches. He made his catches in the playoffs. He came in off an injury and had 100-something catches and 3 touchdowns in the championship game with the Eagles to get them to the Super Bowl that one year. So you have to bring something in to help these guys out. And, T.O., I mean, you can go out right now and get him for real cheap. I mean, he was playing in the indoor football league for, they probably make $800 a game there. So you could have got him for a nice little contract, $1, maybe $2 million a year, and it would have been perfect for a veteran to, help some of these guys out.
Now, Mr. Williams. Yes, sir. Come back by the mic. I got one more question to ask you, man. You guys could share a mic for a minute. Jessie Williams right here, cornerback. It's an important question because a lot of people are down on Joe Hayden, which they should be. I mean, Joe Hayden made a mistake. He wasn't in the game, but the entire loss wasn't Joe Hayden's problem, man. And as being a defensive cornerback like yourself, I just got to ask you a question. It's not necessarily even about Joe Hayden, but seeing how Coach Shermer knew Joe Hayden was facing a possible 4-game suspension before he made the first round of cuts, okay? Do you think getting rid of Sims off the Cleveland Browns team was a mistake, man?
Absolutely, it was a mistake. I mean, going into the season that Joe Hayden was down. I know he made a mistake, and he has to pay the consequences for that. But we're lacking at secondary. That's kind of been a problem. I mean, we played great defense. I'm not going to take anything away from the Cleveland Browns defense. I think we do our thing from the majority of the game. One thing I don't like about our defensive backs, though, my trainer always tells me a defensive back who plays coverage with his hands is either being over-aggressive or lacks confidence in his play. He's scared that the receiver is going to pull away from him. I see it a lot with Sheldon Brown. I see it a lot with Buster Screen, the young corner we drafted last season, the 1AA corner with the 4.3 speed. Guys, that speed can only help you with so much. If you're holding guys, you're getting penalties up the field, pass interference when we don't need it, and crunch times, it's critical. Joe Hayden, a veteran corner, doesn't really do that. You see him out there. He's covering guys with his feet, with his hips, and making plays on the ball when it comes. Our other defensive backs, minus T.J. Ward, they lack that ability.
Well, that's the thing with David Sims. This guy came into camp. He came in from New York, man. He obviously was discarded there, but he showed he was hungry. He's a safety, not a DB, but even having a guy back there in the secondary that plays as hungry as he was and as good of a man, he had the nose for the football, I really believe that he could have sincerely helped this Cleveland Browns team out. And my point is that's just more stupidity on the part of Pat Shermer when he knew Joe Hayden was going to go away for 4-game suspension. There was no way Joe Hayden wasn't going to go away. This was not Bountygate. This was a banned substance abuse problem.
Well, even with Sims, the loss of Sims, that was a tough loss, especially in the secondary. But at safety, like I said, I'm not going to take away from the Browns' defense. I think their secondary does play well at times. But even Osama Young, the safety for the Browns, looked like he played hungry. He had a lot of big hits in that game yesterday, that especially in the first quarter. To me, it seemed like he really got the tempo going, minus the score that Buffalo put up early. I felt like he was really hungry. I just feel like with the lack of Joe Hayden, our corners are – They're not top tier right now.
Okay, we got one more minute, and we're going to wrap up the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Stay tuned. Unsportsmanlike conduct coming up next, but let's get a few predictions. Jesse, tell us what you think is going to happen Thursday night, man.
I see the Browns playing a tough rivalry game. They're going to play strong as usual, but I think the Ravens come out with a convincing victory. I say 35-14.
James Keck, give us your prediction, man.
I'm going to say about the same thing. I think it's going to be close. I think it's about to be like 14-7, 14-10 game until the end where Whedon again is Whedon and turns the ball over twice with about 5 minutes left, and they're going to open it up and win 28-10.
Boy, you're giving them Browns a whole lot more respect than LG is. Cornelius, give us your take on what's happening Thursday night, man.
Thursday night is going to be bad, even without Terrell Suggs. Their defense going to eat us alive, I guess. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I think it's going to complete blowout.
I feel Dawson going to be MVP.
I'm saying 35-0 Ravens. James Keck, tell them if they want to play semi-pro football for the Northeast Ohio Predators, tell them how to get a hold of you, man.
You can find us on Facebook, Northeast Ohio Predators, or you can go to our website at neopredators.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Keck's first time on the Cleveland Sports 360 show. We're going to bring him back here. He's 7 months old right now. We're going to bring him back here whenever the Browns win. Hopefully he does not drive himself here. That's going to do it for tonight on the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Stay tuned. Next, coming up, unsportsmanlike conduct is in the house. They will fill the airways from 7:05 to 8 o'clock. Then it's Kenya Huff with gossip and stuff. We'll see you next week with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Hopefully we're not reporting murders that took place in Baltimore.
I will see you in the next life. This one is just too crazy. You're always going this